Welcome to State of the Offense, your unbiased coverage of your favorite team's offense, the Washington Commanders. At this point of the offseason, there are many uncertainties for teams and players throughout the league. Overall, I believe that Commanders fans should be concerned with the offense going into the 2023 season. Last year, the Commanders finished 20th in total yards in the NFL, 21st in passing, 12th in rushing, and 24th in scoring, which earned them an 8-8-1 record. In the skill positions, the Commanders returned Sam Howell, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson from last season. As State of the Offense, we cover the entire offensive unit, not just the skill players. We start in the trenches by analyzing the condition of the offensive line first. It all starts up front. The Commanders will bring back left tackle Charles Leno, left guard Andrew Norwell, right guard Sam Cosmi onto the offensive line. New linemen include free agent acquisitions right tackle Andrew Wiley from Kansas City, center Nick Gates from the Giants, and third-round draftee center Ricky Stromberg. Charles Leno returns at the left tackle position as the Commanders' highest graded and highest paid offensive lineman. Last season, Leno graded at an 83, which was rated number 14 left tackle in the NFL. He also played 100% of the snaps last year. Leno is under contract for 2 more seasons. Leno's neighbor on the offensive line, left guard Andrew Norwell, was the second highest rated lineman in his debut season with Washington with an 82 grade, and he played 99.7% of the snaps. Norwell is in a contract year in 2023. In 2022, Norwell ranked as the number 6 left guard in the NFL. The Commanders decided to move on from Chase Roullier at the center position and bring in former Giants center Nick Gates in free agency, and they also drafted Ricky Stromberg from Arkansas with the 97th pick in the draft. These two will battle for the starting position in camp. Gates graded at a 69 with the Giants in 2022. He played 55.1% of their snaps. I project Stromberg to grade at a 73 as a rookie and eventually become the Commanders' starter at the position. Gates was signed for $5.5 million, and he's currently listed atop the depth chart. 2021 second rounder Sam Cosmi is the current starting right guard. Last year, Cosmi graded at a 74, which was good enough for the number 22 grade at right guard in the NFL. He played 46.2% of the snaps last year and improved from his rookie year, and he should continue the trend going into his 3rd season. The Commanders signed right tackle Andrew Wiley away from Kansas City in free agency. He only graded out a 67 in Kansas City, but he did play 95.3% of the snaps for the Kansas City Chiefs. If Wiley doesn't work out in Washington this year, the Commanders drafted Braden Daniels in the 4th round at pick 118 from Utah to back him up. Wiley's contract is favorable for the team after this season. Washington has decided to move on from Carson Wentz and Taylor Heinicke at the quarterback position. Second-year player Sam Howell is currently atop the depth chart, and free agent veteran journeyman Jacoby Brissett is listed as the number 2. With the ownership change, I believe that coach Ron Rivera has a lot to prove in order to stay in town. Conventional wisdom would dictate that Rivera will need the steadiness of a veteran to win games like Brissett more than taking a chance on a 5th-round developmental quarterback prospect. The Commanders gave Brissett decent money at $8 million. He should start in the beginning of the season, in my opinion. I would not try to utilize either Washington quarterback in fantasy unless one of them breaks out and proves themselves worthy of being a quality starting quarterback. If that happens, I would be surprised. Commanders ran the ball the 4th most in the NFL last season. They divided snaps almost equally between Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, and J.D. McKissic. McKissic is gone, and the Commanders drafted Kentucky running back Chris Rodriguez in the 6th round. Everyone knows the Brian Robinson story from last summer. It would be reasonable to think that being shot in the knee as a rookie NFL running back would be extremely disruptive. The fact that after this incident he still outcarried an incumbent starter in Antonio Gibson 205 to 149 should speak very well for Robinson going into year 2. Robinson is a Ron Rivera guy. Gibson should probably take up McKissic's role as a third down running back. Rodriguez in many ways has a similar skill set to Brian Robinson. Rodriguez was a very reliable producer in college at Kentucky. All three backs are talented enough to produce fantasy points, but I view Brian Robinson as the most likely option to score fantasy points for the Commanders in 2023. Many will be scared off by Robinson because of Ron Rivera's tendency to share the backfield. Robinson is currently the 33rd running back drafted and the 110th player overall. Antonio Gibson is the 39th running back drafted and the 131st player overall. Last year, Gibson finished 36th in total points at running back. Robinson finished 39th in total points. In points per game, Gibson was 42nd, while Robinson was 33rd. I don't believe that Gibson is currently worth drafting in fantasy drafts. Robinson is a guy that I would like to have as my fourth running back. Rodriguez is a waiver wire add if anything happens to Robinson. In Dynasty, all three are worth owning, but none of them should be a priority acquisition. If any injuries occur in the running back room, the values of the other two running backs would go up significantly. I like all three of them as talents, but the situation is crowded for fantasy football purposes. Washington has a lot of financial and draft resources invested into their wide receiver core. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson are all very, very good players. I would not want to overrate any of them in fantasy because the passing game's upside is limited because of the quarterback situation. I do not expect Eric Bieniemy to deviate from last year's play calling tendencies because there is no Patrick Mahomes in DC. If the line is as good as I think it is and the running backs are getting first downs, Bieniemy will protect either Jacoby Brissett or Sam Howell. McLaurin is the 23rd wide receiver drafted on ESPN and the 65th player drafted overall. Jahan Dotson is wide receiver 39 and player 103. I don't want to spend a 6th round pick on McLaurin or a 9th round pick on Dotson if I have to. If Brissett is the week 1 starter, McLaurin and Dotson may produce at 6th and 9th round levels, but if Sam Howell is the guy, I don't trust it. Logan Thomas is back at tight end, and he has proven to be a non-factor in fantasy. He is currently the 29th tight end drafted overall, and he is basically undraftable and probably not start worthy at all during the season. Washington has a fairly uneven roster build in my opinion. They have some definite strengths on their roster. The quality of the defense, the coaching, and the running game will keep the Commanders competitive, but the holes at quarterback may be too much to overcome, and unless Sam Howell is the next Tom Brady or Jacoby Brissett is the next Geno Smith, the talent of the Commanders' skill positions will not be unleashed in 2023. Unfortunately for Commanders fans, the team is too good to tank for Caleb Williams to come home to Washington next spring. If you like today's coverage of the Commanders' offense, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to support the channel.